Good afternoon, Professor Cohen. My name is Kendall Maxwell,
My name is Aaron Smith.
My name is Kamaya Grant.
I'm Sakai Austin.
and this is our group. We are Group 19, and we will be talking about ecosystems.
Hey, so this is my part of the project, and my name is Kendall Maxwell, so I'm going to be introducing our project, and this is just types of ecosystems, and I put a couple pictures of different types of examples of different types of ecosystems. Sorry, I had myself down here so y'all can see, but this is the next slide, and it's called biomes, and an ecosystem and a biome, they really mean the same thing. I have examples of different types of biomes. So there's a savanna, tropical rainforest, marine, desert, temperate forest, freshwater, grasslands, boreal forest, and tundra. And an ecosystem is defined as a community of living things like plants, animals, and microorganisms that interact with each other and with the other non-living things in their environment, like the soil, the water, and the climate in a confined space. So like an example of an ecosystem could kind of be NCAT really, because there's trees live here, animals like trees, plants live here like trees, grass, bushes, flowers. Animals live here like the stray cats, dogs that we all see running around at nighttime. Microorganisms live here as well, and then us people live here as well, and then we interact with non-living things on a day-to-day basis, like the soil, the mulch, the water that's around here, the climate, like the weather and stuff that differs in North Carolina. And this is an example of a food chain that could happen in an ecosystem. This was just an example of a forest food chain. So it starts with the producer, and then it ends with the decomposer. So it goes the grass, and then the primary consumer. That's the thing that eats the grass. And the secondary consumer eats the primary consumer. So the grass was eaten by the grasshopper. The frog ate the grasshopper. And then the tertiary consumer, because all types of there's all the levels of I was trying to see if it was a specific word, but it's just the levels of consumers that they are. So it goes the thing that eats the producer, and then the thing that eats the last thing in the food chain. And then in some food chains, there's more than one. There's more than three. It could be 4 or 5. It just depends on how the living things interact in that specific ecosystem. And then everything is then broken down by the decomposers when a living thing dies, like mushroom, bacteria, things like that, take in the nutrients from the dead animal. And then I'll just be introducing the rainforest/forest ecosystem. This ecosystem is one of the most common ecosystems around the United States and other continents, because it's the forests, and a lot of the continents on Earth are foresty. But it's made up of tall trees, animals, plants, fungi, and microorganisms, like I was just saying in the slide before. It's very rich in biodiversity and the home to many different kinds of life. Like I said, from the level of primary consumers to the level of tertiary and on consumers. There's lots of different examples. And the roles of the forest, the trees provide shelter, food, and oxygen for its living things that live there. The animals, birds, like for example birds, insects, and mammals, they all live amongst the trees and the plants. And then the soil is full of nutrients to help the plants grow so that they can keep producing nutrients and oxygen for the animals that live there. And then the sunlight, the rain, and the temperature are key factors to how everything lives and grows in the rainforest ecosystem. Thank you for listening to my part, and I'm going to pass you on to the next.
So I will be talking about the ocean ecosystem. The ocean ecosystem is made up of living things like fish, whales, and plankton, and non-living things like salt water, sunlight, and nutrients. The ocean is made up of a lot of living things from plankton to giant whales. This ecosystem provides many things such as oxygen, regulating climate, and providing food and transportation. Some animals that may reside in this ecosystem is dolphins, sharks, jellyfish, sea turtles, and deep sea creatures. The temperature of this ecosystem may vary between warm at the surface and near freezing at the deep end. Another ecosystem I will be talking about is the desert. This ecosystem has low precipitation, extreme temperatures, various vegetation, and rough soil and wind erosion. Some animals that reside in this ecosystem are camels, lizards, foxes. These animals are adapted to survive with little water and cope with extreme heat. Plant life is extremely limited and has adapted to convey water. The desert is dry, hot, with low humidity, which contributes to the rapid water loss from plants and soil.
Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about ecosystem formation and environmental conditions. So first things first, Earth's first multicellular organisms likely appeared about 1.2 billion years ago, which was a major step in the biological history of the Earth. And then we have primary succession, which is the process by which life begins to develop in an area that has not previously had a community. And an example of this would be bare rock appearing after a volcanic eruption. So during succession, both biotic living and abiotic non-living factors shape the development of an ecosystem. As the ecosystem develops, abiotic factors such as sunlight, water, and temperature, they all play a huge role in shaping which organisms can survive and grow. And without these non-living components, no ecosystems can form, and they ultimately provide the foundation that supports all living things. All right, so I'm going to be talking about the three types of symbiosis. So the first one I'm going to talk about is commensalism. And basically in commensalism, one organism is able to benefit and the other one is unaffected. So in addition to what's shown in the picture, some examples of this would be barnacles and whales. So the barnacles get to rest on the bottom of the whales and are able to get, a free ride, get some food sources, while the whale is pretty much unaffected by this. Another one would be birds and trees. So birds can fly up in the trees, they can have somewhere to rest or shelter, and the tree is pretty much unaffected. All right, and then for the next type of symbiosis, we have mutualism. So in mutualism, we actually have both species involved are able to benefit from the relationship. So an example in the picture would be clownfish and sea anemone. So basically, clownfish, they have somewhere to hide from predators that are able to, so they're able to have protection. And in return, sea anemone, they're able to get food scraps and cleaning from the clownfish. Another example of this would be bees and flowers. So bees, they're able to get nectar from flowers, and in return, the flowers are able to become pollinated. So the next type of symbiosis is parasitism, and in this one, we have one party is able to benefit while the other one, unfortunately, is harmed. In the picture, we have a fish being harmed by a parasite. Some other examples of this would be ticks getting on dogs. The ticks are able to feed on the dog's blood, which actually harms the dog. And, even tapeworms in humans. Tapeworms, they get nutrients from humans, and in return, the humans can end up getting sick instead. But yeah, those are the three types of symbiosis.
I will be covering the Kahoot that was made for our group. We are Chapter 19. This Kahoot is based on Chapter 19. It covers all things Chapter 19 and everything that was in Chapter 19. This Kahoot has 12 slides. I'm going to preview 6 of them for you guys so you can get a gist of what this is about and what type of content is in this Kahoot. And with our first question, we have, what defines an ecosystem? And a large body of water that contains life, we can go ahead and X that out. Physical and biological community of living things that interact, we can consider that one. Barren areas of land where little to no participation occurs, we can X that out again because that is a form of ecosystem. That is not an official definition of ecosystem. And a dense forest rich in biodiversity found typically in tropical areas. Again, another form of an ecosystem, not the official ecosystem. So the correct answer would be blue because that is defining what an ecosystem is. Next question is, how many ecosystems are found on Earth? We have 17, 20, 12, and 8. And 17 is not the correct answer. 20 is not the correct answer. And 8 is not the correct answer. The correct answer here would be 12. The third question is, which of these is a biotic factor in an ecosystem? We got water, we got sunlight, we got temperature, and we got trees. So we can go ahead and X out water because that's non-living. Same with sunlight and temperature. These are non-living things. So the trees would be the correct answer here. The fourth question would be, ecosystems require continuous energy input. Is that true or false? The correct answer here would be true. For example, the sun is giving energy to plants in order for them to blossom. Same with water. That is giving them energy and food and nutrients to blossom. Right? If you take those two aspects away, then some animals can't eat. Some animals can't get their food and their resources that they need, and then those animals can't eat. The animals that eat those animals can't eat their resources, and it's just a continuous cycle. The fifth question is, and I already answered it by mistake, which of the following is a producer in an ecosystem? We got grass, we got lions, we got mushrooms, we got humans. Grass would be the correct answer. And the last preview question of the video, artificial ecosystems are real. True or false? The answer here would be true. Artificial ecosystems are real, as shown behind me in the picture above me. Artificial ecosystems are used for things like zoos use artificial ecosystems. You can go to a garden or your local garden and they might have an artificial ecosystem. We use those to grow plants. We use those to farm fishes and have farm raised fish and farm raised this. So artificial ecosystems are real and they help, and especially in climates where specific plants, specific species can't thrive. We can use artificial ecosystems.
Restart. Come on. Okay.
3, 2, and that concludes our presentation. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah.
Thank you.